I'm a big believer in play what you see, and we've got some boys out there who are very ambitious and probably skillful enough to do that sort of stuff. So I know the way we play can sometimes put us in bad situations, but a lot of times it puts us in good situations too. So I like the boys trusting their instincts, and we'll deal with the consequences, whatever they may be afterwards.
Does the coach feel the same? Like you're up, it's 22 all, you've got a bonus point.
Well, I think...
Is that when you kick your sixth penalty of the year?
I think we scored 5 of our 7 tries from cross kicks, and that wasn't a specific plan, but the way they were defending, that was the space that they were leaving us, and so we were happy to take it. So their wingers were very high up defending, and there was that space in behind, and so they were narrow, and so that space was wider. So that's the picture. The picture tells you to take it, and so we have the confidence to take it.
Well, it's really big balls, right? That's pretty fair. Like, that's quite gutsy. You guys were really pumped. You had a guy on the bin. They looked like they were going to score any minute, and then he goes.
But the way they were defending, they shut down us running short. They had a guy in the backfield on the other side of the field to stop our kicking game, so our only real option outside of crossfield kick was kicking it out 20 metres, and that's what they wanted. They've been going to mauls all day, so us turning the ball over in a wide channel is probably a better option than giving them a line out maul 20 metres out from our own line.
Were you surprised they didn't adjust? Is there anything you can
No, they were happy for us to do that.
I think they wanted to.
Yeah.
Give up 5 tries.
I think they wanted to test us where we could kick to that space or not, and we've got to trust our instinct, trust our skills, and sometimes it might not work, but I'd rather us try and live with those consequences than, like I say, kick a ball out 20 metres and give them what they actually want.
They changed their game too, though. I mean, they played a different way than they did against the Crusaders or the Highlanders. They went back to a bit more of an African game. They tried to bully us up front and play for territory and get into the corner and drive and accumulate threes. At the end of the day, you know, you'd be inclined to say that 7 tries to 1 is convincing, but at 22 all, it was far from convincing. And the game, had they scored then for multiple attempts at the line, if they scored then, it might have been a different game.
Can I ask about the period at 22 all where you guys were on attack, TJ and Chris? You went for the line-outs and stuff, and you played quite close. You didn't look to be doing no cross kicks. There was nothing else. It was just like pretty straight ahead, and it was ineffective basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, so firstly, going at the line, I'm a believer in pressure. Like, they had kicked a few penalties and they've been scoring consistently down our end of the field, and we get a penalty straight after our kick-off down their end of the field. If we kick 3 points there, I think they're happy with that situation, that outcome. So going to the line, it builds pressure firstly, and then we can score 7 points. We didn't plan to go short off 9. I think we planned to maul. One of them went pretty close, and the next 2 we didn't execute well at the maul, and that's sort of what we fell into afterwards. So going close and attacking close wasn't our initial plan, but with our line out not executing at the start, that's what we fell into. And you're right, it wasn't effective there, and on another day we'll probably expect to attack a little bit differently. But
what are the overall satisfaction levels like in the performance?
Oh, I think the boys are a bit grumpy actually. Somebody just said, you've just won by 40-something points at 22, 7 tries to 1, don't forget that. But there's some parts of that game that we're not happy with.
Did you get caught up, did you feel TJ out there, particularly the Hamish, that period of play with they started to be very verbal, they started to really get in your face, etc. Did you feel at times you joined into that too much and you lost concentration, especially going to those line-outs, etc., where it wasn't working for you?
No, I don't.
And Chris, the message at half-time was, I spoke to Richard Watt just after half-time, he said discipline was key. You come out of the second half and get 4 penalties away. Did that disappoint you as a coach?
Oh, I think the worst period of the game was probably the first 10 minutes after half-time, where pretty much everything we talked about didn't happen. So that was in complete contrast of, when we were behind against the Brumbies last week or before the bye, when we talked about the things at half-time, we went out and executed all those things really accurately. So, I mean, I don't know whether it was rust from the bye or the pressure that the Storm has put us on, but we just at times tonight, individuals got their role wrong, or somebody had a poor bit of skill execution, and then we'd get frustrated, give away a penalty, and then they'd go into the corner and start that drive again. So, it just didn't we just didn't quite get the continuity we would have looked for.
I know you're not the scrum coach, and I'm sure it should not, but when someone pushes and you get penalised, or you get penalised for pushing, I don't understand this, and then they seem to push the same way to you, but then you get penalised for it and you were on the other end of it. Did you find those a little bit confusing? There was even one before half time, wasn't it? When they pushed you right off it and they got a penalty. You done the same to them and they got a penalty.
Yeah, I don't understand
No, it's
scrum rules. Like, if a penalty goes our way, I don't know why we got it. If a penalty goes their way, I don't know why, so I just try.
I think the thing around that is that generally referees will reward a dominant scrum. So the scrum going forward will generally get the spoils of the penalty. But if they think that they've gone forward because of an illegal angle or an illegal situation, then it'll go the other way. I think the first scrum penalty, we were going forward significantly and got penalised for an angle. So Glenn deemed in that situation that our dominance was gained illegally and penalised. So, I mean, again, TJ and I are probably the wrong guys to be speaking to around that. But.
Was there any temptation to change goal kickers? Because that was quite critical. I mean, the game was closer than it probably ought to be or something, correct?
No, I don't reckon. I think, especially for a young kid, you just got to keep kicking. Goal kickers, I think, can lose more confidence by passing a tee up. So if you drag a kicker because he's missed 2 or 3 kicks, that affects him in the future. So you keep kicking, I'd say.